I do that?
Up right at the top, making sure that I'm seeing.
In the story you're talking about. Yes. Go
Yeah,
birds.
birds. Okay.
Birds.
Okay. I
Cold
thought that's
open.
where you were
Yeah,
going. But
this is okay. Rob colon. Finally, go birds, and then I'm gonna do the Eagles chant. All right.
oh,
Yes.
okay. Yeah.
Oh, I don't want that. That's not gonna be fun. Fuck. All right.
Oh man, he's the one that caught it. Shit.
Oh, okay. I'll just have to do this. This one. Pull this out. There we go. Now I'm really stretching it. Okay, adjust this. Google Chrome. There we go. That. Okay. Move this up. All right. Are we? Oh, I think we're streaming. Let's see. YouTube. Get rid of that. No, come on. Is Buffalo winning? Okay, Buffalo's fine. Okay. I was earlier. Buffalo was losing. I was like, really? Is it going to be that type of a day? Eagles lose.
Yeah.
Buffalo loses to New England. I'm like, oh God. Um, Search YouTube. Your team sucks. Pod. Okay, go live. All right, cool. That's there. Yep. Oh, I hear things. All right, sign into chat.
Oh, that's weird. I'm getting like echo.
Yeah, well, I'm watching it on YouTube on my phone, which I'm holding right in front of the computer, which is why you're getting
Okay.
some echo. Okay. I just put in hi into the chat. Oh, darn it. I just closed it. And I couldn't figure out why I was having such a hard time finding the podcast on YouTube, and it's
Yeah.
because the whole link is your team sucks SUX pod. So if you type in all of that, it will it goes right to it. So we have to just make sure we say that. Check out us live now. At Your Team Sucks. At Michael Slowinski post. Okay, so I just posted check us out now live on Facebook. I just tagged you and the Your Team Sucks in it. So
Okay.
if you want to pull that up and send it to Jay, I should see the chat because I have the chat thing sticking out on the side. And I typed in there, your team sucks high. So I think if I type in something over here, this is a different account. Up and send it to Jay. Yes. I should see the chat because I have the chat thing sticking out on the side. And I typed in there we go. Your team sucks high. All right. And I just see my high in there from my phone. So now Jay can chime along all he wants and party like it's 1999.
There you go.
Speaking of party like it's 1999. Oh, I got a good game for Jay, actually. For our
told you that.
For our later game, whatever. This day in history game. Or this game in history.
Okay.
Very special Christmas. And if this all works, I'm going to have to save. I'll have to figure something. In the YouTube, you can see the Video Ninja controls at the bottom. I know there's another way to pull that up without those, and I'll have to figure that out for next time. But
What's that?
On the YouTube video, if you're looking at the YouTube below our two pictures in front of the background, you can see.
What would happen if I was to go on YouTube on my laptop while I'm streaming?
As long as you mute it, it's just a little delayed, but you could do it on your laptop, or you can even do it on your phone. It's a little delayed.
Yeah.
So that way you can see the chat as well.
Yeah, let me see if I can pull it off of Facebook. Now, is it going to work yet? Has it started?
The stream's going, yeah. So once we get everything worked out and ready to go, I don't need this tab anymore.
One watching more. Yeah, I'm just want to see if there's a way to see comments.
Right.
No, I'm on there, but I don't. Oh, there we go. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
So
All
now,
right. So we are at 7:02. So whenever you're,
okay.
I guess, ready.
I'm ready when you are. All right. Let me just restart this. My song. Come on.
Okay, I just muted the thing. This is one viewer, so I don't know if there's anyone.
Oh, Jay says I'm here. What up? All right.
So yeah, I'm not seeing comments, unfortunately.
Are you looking on your phone?
Yeah.
So do you have the image full screen or sideways? Like up and down? If you hold the phone
Up and down, yeah.
And you're not seeing the comments down here?
No. Share, save, report, subscribe.
You might have to like it on your phone to go into the live chat. Are you?
Oh, you know what the problem is? I don't have YouTube. I don't even have a YouTube account. That's the problem.
Oh, okay.
Okay, that makes sense.
Do you have you don't have any Google accounts?
I do.
So if YouTube's connected to Google, so if you sign into YouTube with any of your Gmail accounts or Google accounts, you should be able to get in there.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I won't worry too much about it. I'll let you kind of manage the comments. We can mess with it a little later.
Okay. All right. Then we will just get rid of that. Get rid of that. Okay. Here we go. I just need to hit record on the Audacity here. All right. We're recording over there. One more. Here we go. You ready, Mike?
Yep.
All right. Finally. Go Birds! E-A-G-L-E-S! Eagles! You lost to the Washington Commanders. The Commies. You lost to the commies.
Really? Really? This is how you're going to act?
Yes, it is, because
Act like you've been there before.
No way, Jose. Not even a little bit.
Actually,
It's been 10 weeks since I could say this. Eagles lost, baby. So, yes, I'm going to be a little excited. I am very, very sorry. America's team finally has a chance to make it into the playoffs and win the Super Bowl. We're back, baby.
I'm not sure if they've officially been eliminated or not, but I don't know. I think you're a little bit delusional, as you Cowboys fans tend to sometimes get. Um, yeah.
Yeah,
So
I think you're right, but it's okay.
yeah. So I mean, I don't know. If this we've been doing this since what, week 5, week 6. This might. So when I'm saying, like, act like you've been there before, you may not have been there before.
No, I don't think
You
since
may not have had a show where your team sucks, where you could actually even talk about the fact that the Eagles lost a game.
No, not even a little bit, because this is only our 8th show, and the first 1 or 2 when the Eagles lost like week 6, maybe 5, 6, somewhere in that area. And
week
4
or 5. Yeah.
Week 4 or 5, yeah. I think that was the first time you and I did a show together, but I think the Cowboys lost also. So it was like, meh, meh, meh. So
Right.
it wasn't anything like worthy of bragging about. But then you guys go on this 10-game winning streak, and bam, there we go. Chris Hart says Dallas will lose tonight. Guess what? I'm not worried about that, Chris, because the Eagles lost right now. That's all that matters. The Eagles lost right now. I do have a let's see. Should I ask you now? Let's do this. Let's do the important stuff. Let's let everybody know who we are. Hey, y'all. Welcome to Your Team Sucks, because the Eagles suck this week. And the podcast where football rivalries are at their finest and tempers are always flaring. I'm Rob, your diehard Cowboys fan, with my super old Cowboys hat on. And trust me, I've got a lot to say about America's team.
And I'm Mike. I got the Eagles Santa hat on because, tis the season. And I am the one and only Eagles fanatic who's here to remind you that I root for 2 teams each week. The Eagles, who unfortunately did lose due to some circumstances this week that we will get into.
Circumstances, yeah. Just take the L, buddy. Just take the L.
And whoever's playing the Cowboys, in this case it's going to be Tampa, that I will be rooting for. But
so,
yeah,
all right.
But yeah, we're going to break down these games, stir up some more trash talk, and make sure that everyone knows how incredible, even after a loss, that the Eagles are.
That's right. It's because we're diving into the rivalries, the stats, and everything in between. Whether you're wearing silver and blue, like America's team, or dumb green and white, like the Seagulls, the birds that can't win, to the commies, you'll get an earful.
Yep, but it is all in good fun, because we are all just fans of the crazy, amazing game. So we are going to get into it now, and I'm going to let Rob kind of, live in his glory. This may be the only chance that he gets to do it.
Probably.
This is Your Team Sucks.
This is Your Team Sucks. Welcome. Before we get into it, before I rave, I'm glad we're doing this at 7 o'clock and not 8, because later doesn't matter. Rave about the Eagles losing and all that good stuff, and the Cowboys, they won last week, so I'm off of a W for the Cowboys. Sure, it was to Carolina, and a loss for the Eagles, but that doesn't matter. Check us out at Your Team Sucks at Instagram, here on the YouTube, Your Team Sucks, SUX Pod, POD, all one word, and on Facebook at Your Team Sucks. Speaking of Facebook, we need some more followers on Facebook. So if you're on a follower on Facebook right now, please share with your friends. Let them know how fun and entertaining we are, especially all you Eagles fans out there who hate Cowboys fans. Tell them you gotta listen to this idiot on there who's raving because the Eagles lose one game. And, the sensible Mike over there who's a true Eagles fan, who knows? It's only one game. It's not that big of a deal. But once we get to 100 followers, then we can stream this live on Facebook as well. So we need like 20 more followers. So please tell your friends. Let's get 20 more out there, and then we'll be able to stream it live to YouTube as well. Mike,
Yep,
you want to tell them?
we will get there.
Yeah, we
Yep,
will
yeah.
get
You
there.
can also listen to us on that Spotify. You can listen to us on Apple Podcasts, the iHeartRadio, Amazon. For now, we need your help. Again, on top of the follows, give us the rate. The more
Yes.
ratings it is, the better that it goes. That whole algorithm stuff. It's all about the algorithms. So
Algorithms.
yeah, yep. So now for the fun stuff.
Now for the
Rob,
fun
you've got me
stuff.
rubbing in a little bit, but let's
Yes.
really get into this. Tell me how you truly feel about the Eagles losing.
Uh, I love it because, correct me if I'm wrong, but do the Cowboys now hold the division in their hand? And not by what I mean by them being able to win, but they still play the Eagles one time and they still play Washington one time. And depending on who we win, who we beat or lose to, could determine who wins the division. Is this true or not?
This is not really true because we play Dallas or we play the Giants as well.
Yeah.
And if we beat either one of those two teams, we're going to win the division. So
Okay, so
we don't need your help. We don't need your help.
you need our help. Say we beat the Eagles. Say the Cowboys beat the Eagles.
Okay, yeah, we could do hypotheticals. Sure, let's go with that.
Let's go hypotheticals because the Eagles just lost, so I'm living off of this. So hypothetically, the Eagles lose to the Cowboys. That puts them at how many losses in the division? 2, right?
Sure.
Because they beat Washington the first time. They're going to beat the Giants. Everybody's beating the Giants. So everybody gets 2 wins for beating the Giants.
Okay.
But if we beat the Eagles, that gives you your second loss. And then if Washington beats the Cowboys, then does Washington only have 2 losses also? Or no?
Yeah, but we're going to have a better record. We only have 3 losses. We need to lose both games to get to the same 5 losses that Washington has right now.
Darn it.
Yeah, we don't need your help. First of all, we're going to smoke you because Jalen Hurts is going to be back playing next week, and he's going to we're just going to take out all of our frustration and aggression and just beat the living daylights out of you guys next week. It's going to be so great.
Sorry, I was yawning. I didn't hear anything. What's that about? You were saying next week you're going to beat the Cowboys? Please look at look at how awesome the Cowboys are. We just beat
I'll tell you what,
Carolina.
Carolina actually won this week. They had a big lead, blew the big lead, but ended up winning that game in the in overtime. So, Carolina's a little bit of an up-and-coming team. I think we may have even talked about that a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, because you guys almost lost to them.
I like where they're going.
Yeah, they were an up-and-coming team when you guys almost lost to them. But then we destroyed them last week. We showed them how it was done. And we're going to do the same thing again tonight to Tampa Bay. And then we're going to do the same thing next week to the Seagulls. And then we're going to keep doing it all the way through to the Super Bowl. You don't believe me at all, do you?
I'm pretty sure that you guys are already eliminated.
Come on, man.
But aside from that, you guys would be doing us a favor if you beat Tampa because Tampa's also a rival. We want to lock them down a peg. We want to make sure that we keep them at bay.
Right.
But again, but it's okay if you don't beat them. We don't need your help.
We don't need
you guys.
You don't need us.
Yeah,
I don't need you, he says.
Nope.
We don't need you. All right, whatever. I was really hoping that the Cowboys could control the destiny of the NFC East. Now, that being said, the Eagles, I think, are clearly the best team in the NFC East. And I don't know. Lions lost last week. Did they play today already? I guess did they play tomorrow night?
They did. They played. They won. They beat a bad Bears team pretty handily.
So the NFC North, other than the Bears, is legit. Yeah. You have Green Bay, you have the Lions, and you have Minnesota.
Minnesota's playing right now. Yeah.
3 of 4 of the best teams in the NFC are all in that division.
Three
So
of four, right? So that means that there's another team
there
in the
is another
NFC.
team, and it's
Who was that?
one of those bird teams. I forget.
Well, I mean, there's the Seahawks. Yeah,
Yeah,
the
the
Seahawks
Seahawks
are.
is a bird
No, I
team.
don't think you're talking about them.
No, the Falcons are
No,
a bird
the
team.
Cardinals.
The Cardinals.
Falcons are a bird team.
Yeah,
Cardinals are. They're the team that just lost to the Carolina Panthers today,
right.
so
Yeah,
they're
so
now
they're not
under
it.
500.
Yeah, the Falcons
They're
just
not it.
beat the Giants today. I mean, they could be legit.
They beat
They
them
could be a
handily.
legit
All
bird
right.
team. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't really see any other bird teams. I think that must be it. That's all of them, right? Is there? There's no other. Oh wait. Oh yeah, the
Well,
Eagles are the fourth best team in the NFC. Right. Whatever. Blah blah blah.
no. I think that you're saying fourth best team. You're
Mm-hmm.
saying of the four teams. No.
Oh, is that what is that what you mean? Of the four teams?
Yeah, no, they're not just the fourth best. They're in that 14 category, and they might be the best of all.
They could be. I wonder though how good those and what. Well, let me see what the records would be of those NFC North teams if they didn't have to play each other twice. Like if they had the Giants not the Giants schedule, if they had the Eagles schedule where they don't have to play all the NFC North teams, would they only have one loss each or one less loss each comparison? Because I mean,
Well, Detroit lost to Tampa, who the Eagles also lost to, and then
okay,
they lost to Buffalo,
okay, which could
which is
be
a conference game. Which,
a,
yes, I mean Buffalo. The Eagles don't have to play Buffalo, but the Eagles did have to play Pittsburgh and Baltimore,
okay, and they
and they
handled
beat both of
Baltimore.
them.
They beat both of them very well. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was just because those three teams are so solid. But the good news for them anyway is by them playing those three teams, if those are the four teams in the NFC semifinals, the Eagles, Lions, Minnesota, and Green Bay in no particular order. It will be one hell of a matchup, and I think the other three teams will be kind of seasoned to that competition because they've played them twice. Now, did we in the NFC? I mean, I know the Cowboys lost to the Lions. Which NFC North teams did the Eagles play this year? Can you remember offhand? Did they
Green
play?
Bay.
They played Green Bay. Did they beat or
They beat,
lost?
they
They beat
beat
Green Bay.
Yeah, they beat Green. That was that game that was in Brazil, the first game of the season.
Okay, yeah. So, yeah, I definitely think the Eagles are not the fourth best team. As much as I want to be that Cowboys hater, that whatever. I still think the Eagles are in the top two between them and the Lions. Jalen Hurts, what's the deal? What do you know after that game? Was it concussed? Is he concussed? Have they said anything yet?
Yeah, it was ruled a concussion. I mean,
Okay.
obviously that's the fact that he didn't come back in is due to the fact that it was a concussion. It was super early in the game, changed the complete complexion of the game. The other thing that I think it does is, well, first of all, it cements that Kenny Pickett absolutely sucks. That was Howie Roseman made a lot of good moves.
That was not one
Trading
of
for
them.
Kenny Pickett was not one of them. The second thing that it proves is how important that Jalen Hurts is to that team, because you could see the difference in the game and how they were able to stack the box and really keep Barkley at bay. Then the Eagles had a couple of injuries on the defensive end, and then one major ejection. The other thing that we realized is that we do not have any depth at safety.
Okay.
We got Blankenship and we got Gardner Johnson, and we don't have anything else because we got gashed after Gardner Johnson went out. The Eagles couldn't stop Washington. For as bad as Pickett played and for as many things offensively that went on, the Eagles had 5 turnovers, or got 5 turnovers, and they just could not stop Washington from scoring if it wasn't for the turnovers. And then on top of it, an extremely uncharacteristic drop by Devontae Smith, who is one of the most sure-handed receivers in all of football. Easy catch, wide open, would have clinched the game, or at most gave Dallas the ball back with like 40 seconds left
Not
in the game in the
Dallas.
touchdown to win.
Not Dallas.
Or Dallas, she's who did we play? Oh, Washington. Yeah, would have
Washington.
given Washington the ball back with like 30, 40 seconds left. So yeah, it was a weird game when it came to those types of things where, an uncharacteristic drop, um, you know, uh, the ejection, not capitalizing, only 9 points on the 5 turnovers that they got. It was not pretty. But
Also, Jake
he
Elliott showed that he has no
missed the
range.
56 yard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, even Aubrey's struggling, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, they set him up for an 80-yard field goal. He missed that one, but he
I think
missed
it was 70.
70. Okay. But I mean, Aubrey has shown he can kick into the 60s.
Yes.
And Jake
I
Elliott.
mean, Elliott has as well.
Okay.
I think Elliott's got a 60-yarder at one point.
Okay. I thought they said that he didn't, but I could be wrong. Yeah. So, and I know he missed a 56-yarder. Do we have fumbles, defense, interceptions, kick returns, punt returns, kicking? Jake Elliott was 4 for 5. His longest was 50 today. Jake Elliott's longest of the year, longest field goal made is 50.
50, yeah.
Yeah.
Today's the longest one.
Yeah, he 2024 regular season field goal percentage 77% made. He's 24 for 31. 8 for 9 between 40 and 49 yards, and 1 for 7 50 and above, and I think that one was at 50. So
Yes.
Yeah, his longest is 50.
Yeah.
So I mean, look.
This year he is not. This year he struggled.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong. I could not go out there and kick a 50-yarder myself. So I'm not bashing him, although, kickers have one job to do. It's just interesting now how kickers, if Jake Elliott 10 years ago even would be considered, a great kicker, not being able to kick over 50 yards. And it just seems like in the past 10 years, suddenly they said, hey, kickers, we want you to kick more than 50. And a lot of them have said, okay, no problem. So they tried with him today. They tried a 56-yarder, and he missed. And I think he's 1 for 7 over 50 yards. So
Aubrey, I think, has struggled a little bit this year.
He did struggle a little bit, yes. He has missed a couple more than what people thought he would miss. He was his longest is 65. He is 30. He made a 65-yarder this year. He's 32 for 38 in the regular season. He's 84% field goals, 32 for 38. 40 to 49 yards, he's 12 for 14, and 50 yards and above, he's 11 for 13 at 50 yards and above.
Aubrey's legit.
Yeah, his average is 44, which means that the Cowboys cannot get into the red zone to save their life. But Cowboys are great 30 to 30 yards. They can play wonderfully from their 30 to the other 30. But then they say, nah, that's enough. We don't need to go any further than that. We're going to stay right here. Yeah. That end zone, who needs 7 points at a time? 3 at a time is all we need. But yeah, there was like a game or 2 games in there where suddenly Aubrey looked human again because he missed like 2 or 3, 2 and an extra point in one game. And everybody was like, oh no. And it kind of brought him down from this Superman kicking status down to just a human again.
Mere mortal.
Yeah, mere mortal.
Yeah. I mean, Justin Tucker has struggled this year as well. I mean, it's been an interesting year for kickers.
Mm-hmm. But I also think it's because they're now expecting them to kick longer. Like they're expecting them to kick 50 plus on a regular occurrence. Where I feel in the 80s and 90s, they would just keep pounding the ball in to make sure that they didn't have to go above a 50-yard field goal.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so your game today was interesting. I was watching the first half, and then when I saw your boy Tucker in there, Justin Tucker in there, I was like, wait, what happened? I looked.
Oh, you mean Kenny Pickett? Yeah.
Kenny Pickett in there, and I checked Jalen Hurts' stats because I just missed the injury, and the stats were like 1 for 4 for 11 yards, and I was like, wow, that's interesting. Like I thought maybe the Eagles were like, look, we're on a 10-game winning streak. This game is, we're gonna start resting people or whatever. But then soon after I started watching it, then they showed the highlight or the low light, I guess, of Jalen Hurts running and getting tackled and getting his head smashed into the ground on the tackle, which then caused the concussion. But he also had a broken finger, yes? Or is that old?
On this, I think that's old, unless that happened. I didn't hear about that.
Okay, then that must have been old news. I typed in Jalen Hurts hurt, and there was 2 articles that came up about him having a broken finger on his non-throwing hand, but that might have been from last season or whatever. The internet is not always very accurate on their information. I just want to let you know that. So, yeah, so he's out with concussion protocol. Now, how long do you know they're going week to week with him? Is that what the assessment is right now, or do you know what the concussion?
I would imagine it's week to week. I mean, it didn't. I don't know that he has a history of concussions, and he's not somebody that that's typically had a lot of them.
Okay.
And he's not one. He's not somebody that is. It didn't seem like it was a really bad concussion.
Yeah, it wasn't like the Miami one where he was down, that stretcher, all that stuff. Like he walked off. He had people helping him and stuff, but it didn't seem like it was, not that a concussion is not serious, but it did, like you said, it didn't seem overly like a really hard hit. It was hard enough to rattle his brain around inside of that helmet, but not hard enough to hopefully do too much damage. Because, look, even Cowboys fans, I don't want him going out on an injury and then you guys losing this awesome season that you're having because your quarterback has a concussion and is out for the next 4 weeks.
Right.
But this is also a little... Is this going to be reminiscent of last season now? What do you think? Because
you mean with them like in a tailspin?
Yeah. Like, is this going to send them into a tailspin or no?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I think that they're going to be fine. I think that they're going to
trade for Carson Wentz.
No, I think the trade deadline's over with. But no, I mean, I think that they'll get Jalen Hurts back. I think that Gardner Johnson, they'll have him back after his suspension's now over with.
What did he do what did he get kicked out for today?
He got 2 unsportsmanlike conduct penalties.
Okay.
In succession in the same day, and that's I don't even know what they were. Wasn't paying close enough attention because I was watching the game and kind of like in discussions, and it didn't really. I didn't really see any replays or anything that really kind of explained exactly what happened. So, yeah. So that's
right.
That's that.
Okay. And now, when you get kicked out, is it just for that game, or do you have to serve another game after that?
No, I'm pretty sure that it's just that game.
Just that one game.
Be fine. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's good. Because next week is kind of an important game for them. Not really, but they do want to win.
Well, it'll be nice. It'll be nice to clinch. It'll be nice to clinch division, and then actually they'll probably already have the 2 seed locked up.
Right.
Which, if they have the 2 seed locked up, that means that they can probably sit the guys against the Giants in the last game of the season, and that way, they can use that as their bye since they can't get the bye with the first round. So
So,
now, it'll be interesting though, because I mean Barkley will be going for the record.
yeah. So last time we had the show, you alluded to the fact that Saquon may have more yards than Emmett did in any of his career seasons. And he now has passed him because
Okay.
Emmett's longest, he had 2 seasons over 1,700 yards rushing. One was like 1,770 and one was like 1,728 or something like that. So,
Okay.
and the 95, when he had 1,770, he was also the league MVP. And now I'm looking with these 150 yards that he got this game, Saquon is now at 1,838. So he
Okay.
has now surpassed Sir Emmitt Smith for the most yards. And when Emmitt had those, it was the record at the time for rushing yards in a season. And
Okay.
the nice thing is, in the era of stats and asterisks and things like that, this season is a game longer than when Emmett played. So you don't want that stat with a little asterisk next to it because he got it in the 19th week instead of the 18th week.
Exactly. Yeah.
But
He got it done after.
yeah,
He got it done after week 16 instead
mm-hmm.
of. So he had 2 games. He has 2 games remaining. So he did it in 15 games, where
right.
it is in 16. So
Yeah.
he's earned it. He's
yeah.
legitimately now. The O.J. Simpson with 2,000 yards in 14 games. That's still untouchable.
Oh my God, that's still untouchable. But
Yeah.
I will say this: I don't think it matters who you have at quarterback. Maybe, as long as you have Saquon.
No, it clearly matters who we have at quarterback because we had Kenny Pickett today, and
I mean, he
with
he had 143 yards and a touchdown. He did get sacked 3 times, but he only had 1 interception. Now, you still lost, but I didn't watch the second half, so I don't know. Was he looking bad in the game, even though his numbers weren't that bad?
I mean, yeah, he didn't look great. I mean,
Okay.
he can't escape nearly as well as Hurts. He can't extend plays. 143 yards when he played 3.5 quarters.
Right. Yeah.
Isn't a lot.
Isn't a lot. But
yeah.
Also, I mean,
they were daring on the pass. They stacked the box. They really didn't. They didn't give Saquon a chance to do anything because they weren't going to let him beat them.
Okay.
They were going to make Pickett do it, and to me, Pickett probably couldn't get the job done.
Okay, so we'll see what happens next week with how well he plays next week because he'll have probably all the snaps in practice this week. Unless they bring somebody else in or their third string quarterback, they start splitting stats or snaps between the two of them. But I think it's tough. Backup quarterback is probably like one of the easiest jobs to have until you're needed, and then you're like, oh crap, here I go.
Right.
It's great. Even the Cowboys.
I was talking to my wife about that. She's like, what exactly do they do? I'm like, well, they wait and see if the starting quarterback is like, they don't do anything else. I'm like, well, they sit in practices, they go over things, they go to meetings, and they do things, but
even in practice, like they're not, they're getting 1/10 of the reps that the starting quarterback gets, and even when they get a rep, they're not getting it with the first team, because you're not going to waste your time practicing the backup guy in case your starter gets hurt, because that's why you have the starter, so they really they have a pretty cush job. It's almost like when they're like, go Sunday, they're like, yeah, please don't get hurt because I don't really feel like playing.
Yeah, exactly. I like this cushy holding the clipboard job.
Yeah, I can hold this clipboard for $2 million a year. I'm in. I got it. I'll do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now, and no backup quarterback's going to say that, but obviously, like if you make it to the NFL, then you have a desire to play and a desire to win. You're not just like, hey, yes, somebody's not like, yes, I nailed the backup quarterback job. That was what my goal was to be the backup.
Right.
So
Yeah.
they all want to get in there, of course, but like, when you're suddenly, especially like halfway through the first quarter, you're still like looking in the stands for your wife and kids, and suddenly they're like, dude, you're in. He's like, what? Oh my God.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think give him a week and then see what happens next week. Not even the fact that it's against the Cowboys, but just now that he has a week with all the snaps. I mean, look at what the
Right. Assuming that Hurts isn't able to play. Assuming
right.
that Hurts doesn't kind of. Yeah.
Yeah, assuming that they say, okay, you're out for at least another week. Like Cooper Rush came in the first game and he was good. The second game he looked horrible and I was like, oh crap. But then the third game he came back and looked he looked more respectful than he did in the second game when he threw for 46 yards. It was like, oh my gosh, what are you doing? This is our season. We're done, but
Yep.
yeah, so that's that. So I don't know. And in the grand scheme of things, other than Hurts getting hurt, this loss doesn't really mean much. I mean, you guys are still 12-3, and you still have the number 2 seed. By the end of the season, you get one more win. You're going to lock down that 2 seed. Everything's going to be fine. And
Yep.
I think it also helps with the fact that you don't have, same thing with the Chiefs. When the Chiefs finally lost, it's like, okay, good. You want that loss in there so you don't have that pressure of now everybody's talking about the undefeated season or the win streak or this or that. It's like, okay, good. Now you lost. Now all that talk is over, and now just get back to the fact that the goal now is to win the Super Bowl, not to extend a win streak or anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. I felt like the game that was the wake-up call was the Carolina game. I don't really know if this necessarily was a wake-up call game. I mean, it was a weird game the way that it went. Uncharacteristic drop. The fact that you got 5 turnovers and still ended up losing a game, you didn't have your start. Like, it proved that it proved how important Jalen Hurts is.
Yeah.
But aside from that, I don't think that this proved much. I don't think that this really changes anything one way or the other. So.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
What's Jay have to say about all this?
Jay's he said Pickett for MVP a while ago, but
okay.
He hasn't been chiming in anything else since then. He said the Lions won today, and the Lions will win the division. This is old stuff. And then he said Pickett for MVP. But I mean, at the same time, we could say the same thing about Cooper Rush because we're stuck with him as well. Just like for now, you guys are stuck with Kenny Pickett. And last week we beat the Carolina Panthers 30-14. It was a very good win, but I feel like the Cowboys are getting good wins against bad teams.
Sure.
We go back the week before that, Sunday night or Monday night game. It was Monday night against the Bengals, and that was a game that the Cowboys.
Bengals aren't even a very good team. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a game that the Cowboys found a way to lose. Towards the end of the game, they dropped a ball that they could have caught and killed a drive that they were doing well in the second half of playing. They were playing very well in the second half, and then suddenly they just go, oh, no, the game's almost over. We could win this game. No, forget about it. We'll let this better
That's right.
team.
That was the blocked punt and the bonehead play and everything else.
Yeah, there was a whole bunch that went really wrong, and then it's like, okay, and then you turn around and you beat Carolina, which sure they won today, but they beat the Cardinals today 36-30 in overtime, but still, like, I don't know. This tonight, I don't have any high expectations because I feel the Cowboys, like I said, the Cowboys are good at beating bad teams, but we're bad at beating good teams. I'm pretty sure that this next statement that I've been hearing all over Facebook is just some idiot who posted this, and then everybody was just saying the same thing. Did Ezekiel Elliott say if he doesn't get a raise, he's leaving the team, or did somebody just post that in some dumb thread and people are like, "Oh my god!" Like, did you hear anything about that?
No, I didn't hear anything about it. I can't see why Ezekiel Elliott, in his position, after years of being, after the past 3 years of being mediocre, and he signed on to this deal. There's 2 weeks left on. I'm sure it's a 1-year deal. I can't see. I can't see why Dallas would care.
Right. Yeah. I don't.
So I would imagine that that's some sort of clickbait type thing.
Yeah. So suddenly all these Facebook groups are all posting ridiculous things, and it's just so annoying. It's all just clickbait garbage. I didn't even bother clicking it, and I was like, there's no way he said that. But I just wanted to make sure that you didn't have your ear to the ground and heard something that I didn't hear, that he actually did say that. Because that's a ridiculous stat or a ridiculous statement. Because why would he? He barely touches the ball. In the game against Carolina, he had 9 touches for 30 yards. Rico Dowdle had 25 carries for 149 yards. It's like Turpin had 2 touches for 27 yards. It took Ezekiel 9 carries to get to 30. Turpin did it in 2. So it's like there's no way that he actually said that. That's, as the kids say, redonkulous.
Yes.
But, yeah, I just wanted to make sure that he didn't actually say that. But, yeah, the Cowboys-Cincinnati game the week before, we were losing in the first half, and then we came back, and then we let the Bengals score 10 points in the fourth quarter to wind up winning that game. That was another just a bonehead plays at the end. I'm just like, really? This is what you're doing? Like, come on. So it's like this is the way the Cowboys season has gone. Cooper Rush, 183 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. Dowdle, though, has looked good. He had 131 yards rushing in that game, and then 149 yards rushing last week in Carolina. So suddenly, the team that could not run the ball at all suddenly now found that if we give Dowdle the ball, he might actually be able to run. So it could be good for the future.
Does that mean that you're getting a false sense? Yeah, does that give you a false sense that Dowdle is your workhorse and you're confident in him going forward? Or
this year, I don't see him being a Saquon ever. I don't even see him being an Ezekiel of the past. But
sure.
I think if we draft a better running back in the draft this year, he would be a very good number 2 running back. I feel like if we have a solid number 1 and then him, it would be a good 2-headed monster combo, which we desperately need, considering that we don't have that now. So right. I think I don't want to say he's the future of the team, but he definitely will help the team a lot, is what I think going into the future.
I think that's fair.
Yeah. And then you guys last week, who did you guys play last week?
We played Pittsburgh last week.
Oh, yeah, that was a good game.
And, yeah, we won that pretty handedly. We dominated that game. So it was a strong win.
Yeah, that was
for the team. It was another statement win. Again, I don't know if this team needs any more statement wins. I think that this team's already stated they're legit. So I don't know if they need to make any more statements. It's also why even after today, even if Hurts did play, I'm not terribly upset about today's loss.
No.
With the exception of knowing that I was coming on with this knucklehead Cowboys fan later tonight.
Woo!
That I was going to have to hear it from.
You're going to have to hear about how they finally lost because they're so bad.
With the exception of that, yeah. with the exception of that, I wasn't really that worried about the.
I was so excited when I saw that suddenly in the fourth quarter. Oh wait, Washington's up. Oh no, they're down. Oh wait, they're up again. Oh, they're going for two.
Yeah.
They have a 3-point lead with 5 seconds left. This is amazing. It was a lot of fun. Because the Steelers are 10-5. They did lose on Saturday to the Ravens.
Right.
But I think the Ravens are legitimately top 4 teams. They're 10-5 also. Top 4 team in the AFC. So that's not a bad loss, although it's a division loss and all that good stuff. But at least they didn't lose to, the Jets or the Giants or something like that. They didn't lose to a bad team. They lost to a legitimate team. But, yeah, you guys beating them 27-13. Like you said, it was a very handedly well-executed game. But, yeah, I really, really think that this loss does nothing for the Eagles except take that pressure of the win streak off of them. Is all that it is doing.
I mean, it would have been nice. It would have been nice to clinch the division this week and not have to even think about it. It would have been nice to kind of stay in that contention for that number 1 seed. Now, again, we need both Minnesota and Detroit to lose, and they play each other. So we would need one of Minnesota or Detroit to lose next week, and then the team that lost to beat the other team. For them both to have 3 losses because the Eagles lost the tiebreaker off of both of them.
Okay.
So this just basically set it up to where they're locked into the number 2 seed now.
Which still is
unless scorch the earth, colossal.
Right. The only thing that really does is it just means that the NFC Championship game would not be held in Philadelphia.
Right, and there's a first round bye that only the one seed
gets. Yeah. But I also, how many times does the bye week hurt teams? And how many times do you see teams that are the wild card team that go on a run? I think maybe it happens probably more in baseball than in football, but occasionally you'll see the number 6 team come out and just start winning. And it's like,
yeah, absolutely.
So I don't know. The bye sometimes hurts more than it helps. And sometimes it's good to just keep going. It also depends on the team. I know, years ago when the Cowboys had a bye, even a couple years ago when the Cowboys had a bye in the first round, guys were going on vacation to Barbados or some crap like that. And it's you take that week off, you lose your mindset and forget that you're still, and this is the important time now, the regular season is all just to get you to this time. And if you go and decompress somewhere else, sometimes it's hard to get back into the mode.
Now, you would think that whoever gets that 1 seed is going to have an easier matchup in that first game.
Right. But look at who the teams would it be? It would be Tampa Bay. Even Tampa Bay is you're not talking about a crappy team. You're not talking unless maybe you're talking about.
Tampa Bay right now is kind of a little bit of a scary team.
Yeah.
Now I think it would probably be the team from the West, whoever that may be, the Rams or Seattle. I guess are the 2 teams right now. I think Rams just lost to Miami again. Thank you for, playing absolutely crap defense and letting the Shane get this long touchdown that basically, on top of everything, while we were on my my fantasy team got destroyed. Things rang up like a pinball machine
right.
to score. So.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah.
Yeah, so you're looking at the Rams. The Seahawks are 8-7 at this point. They're not making a wild card run. Buccaneers, luckily this year, everybody in the NFC anyway, division leaders all have winning records. The Buccaneers are 8-6 right now. It's not the best winning record, but it's still a winning record. Someone might say that by the end of tonight they'll be 9-6. We'll see. But you're looking at the Packers and the Vikings would be, two of the wild card teams, and they're 13-2 and 10-4. So it's like, the
Yeah.
one.
So I mean,
like, you're better off playing a division champ than you are playing one of the wild card teams. So.
well, yeah. So I mean, the way that you look at it right now, you have the 1 seed means that they're going to be playing the winner of the 4-5 seed, the winner of that game,
Yeah.
and that's going to be probably the West, the winner of the West, or Tampa, and either Minnesota or Detroit are going to be playing against each other.
Yeah.
So Minnesota and Detroit could be playing against each other week 18,
Mm-hmm.
and then coming back and doing it again.
Yeah, in the playoffs 2 weeks later. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Right now they clinched a playoff spot, and the rankings at this point, the playoff picture at this point: Lions 1, Eagles 2, Vikings 5, but they also clinched a playoff spot. And then in the hunt, you got Rams at 3 at 9-6. You got Buccaneers at 4 at 8-6 because they would win their divisions. But then
right.
you got the 6.
Now, I don't know if the Buccaneers and Rams flip flop if the Buccaneers win.
Right.
They could be 9-6. But.
Yeah, I don't know if they played each other or not, but they could flip around. And then the 6th seed is the Packers at 10-4, and the 7th seed is the Commanders at 10-5. So like the division, even though they're winning records, the two South and West division leaders are worse than any of the wild card teams. So as the 1 or 2 seed.
Did you say that is Washington the last wild card team in now?
As of right now, Washington's the last wild card team in. They're the 7th
and
seed.
They're what, 10-5?
10-5. They're yeah. Is there
okay.
7? There's 7 wild card teams this year, right?
Yep.
Or 7 teams in the playoffs because the one team gets a bye. Yeah. Yeah, so as of right now, the Commanders at 10-5 are the 7th seed. The Seahawks and the Falcons are in the hunt. The only way I think they get it is either going on a huge winning streak, having people lose like Commanders and stuff like that losing, or overtaking their division where they then bump out the 3 or 4 seed Rams and Buccaneers. So,
so I mean, interestingly enough, it's kind of setting up a collision course where Washington's going to be coming to Philadelphia.
Yeah.
The wild card week.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, it'll be interesting, and especially now with you get Jalen Hurts back, and I don't foresee you guys losing to them the second time around. But Washington's quarterback is solid. He was making some, even though he had a bunch of interceptions and 2 interceptions and I guess there we go 2. The receivers. No. There's no fumbles over there. I don't know where.
No, it was the running back had 2 fumbles.
Oh, there we go. Okay. Yeah, Washington fumbles. Brian Robinson Jr. lost 2 fumbles, and Damon Brown lost 1. So they had 3 fumbles and 2 interceptions. But Jaden Daniels, I mean, he still threw for 258 yards with 5 touchdowns and 2 interceptions.
And 5 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I think, like we said, with the Jalen Hurts there, that's a whole different story.
And I think that the Eagles secondary would be a little bit. Yeah, I mean, I think that it was. I think for the defense, it was a good wake up call. Because I think that this is the first game that they were the top scoring defense. They were the best defense scoring wise, and so them losing this game, I think that might help them reset a little bit themselves.
Sure.
So.
All right. Moving on now to this game in history. We'll do this and then we'll get out of here. I wanted to look for a game around Christmas time. I found one on December 26th, which for those of you that don't know is the day after Christmas. 1982. So this one's also for Jay. Jay is a big fan of sports in the 70s and 80s. So this is in that era, early 80s. 1982, December 26th, 4 p.m. at Texas Stadium. The Cowboys versus the Eagles. Tom Landry versus Dick Vermeil. Two classic coaches for both of the teams. The Eagles were 3-5 at the time, and the Cowboys were 6-2 at the time. And the Eagles pulled off the 24-20 victory over the Dallas Cowboys. It was a little Christmas present for the Eagles. The first quarter was tied 7-7. The second quarter, the Cowboys took a lead with 10-7. They scored 10 to the Eagles 7 in the second quarter. And then the third quarter was all defense. Nobody scored anything. And then in the fourth quarter, the Eagles said, "Hold my beer. I'm going to score 10 to your 3 and take a 4-point lead and win the game." Let me see the team stats here. The Eagles had 16 first downs to the Dallas' 17. The Eagles rushing yards, touchdowns, or rushing, they rushed 30 times for 83 yards and a touchdown. The Cowboys had 34 rushes for 109 yards and 0 touchdowns. Completion attempts, yards, touchdowns, interceptions. Ready? 14 completions out of 23 attempts. So 14 for 23. 175 yards, 1 touchdown.
Was that Jaworski?
This was Ronald K. Jaworski. Yep. And 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. And then my favorite quarterback growing up as a kid, Daniel James White. He went 17 for 31, 185 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. Holy cow. Jaws was sacked twice for 22 yards. Danny White was sacked 5 times for 49 yards. Fumbles lost. The Eagles had 4 fumbles. They lost 2. The Cowboys had 5 fumbles. They lost 2. 4 turnovers apiece. Penalty yards, 3 for 20 and 3 for 19. Now, Ronnie Jaworski, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, 2 sacks, 22 yards. So he's that quarterback that you may have heard of. Wilbert Montgomery, 23 rushes for 88 yards. He had all of them except for Leroy Harris had -1 yards rushing. But Wilbert Montgomery had all of your rushing yards. And 3 receptions for 46 yards. All
right, there you go.
Yeah, your leading receiver was Ron Smith. He had 3 receptions for 51 yards. His longest, both him and Wilbert Montgomery's longest were 22 yards apiece. A whole bunch of other people. John Spagnola. I know that name. I think he's a coach now. Yeah. 3 receptions for 37 yards.
Son is or something.
Yeah, in the family somewhere. Harold Carmichael, 2 receptions for 17 yards and a touchdown. Perry.
Well, they shut him down.
They did.
Except for a touchdown.
Yeah, on a 10-yard. I don't know if it was a 10-yard touchdown, but his longest was 10 yards. Perry Harrington had 1 catch for 7 yards, and Leroy Harris had 4 rushing attempts for -1 yards, 2 receptions for 17 yards. And then on the Cowboys, of course, Danny White, I said, 17 for 31, 185 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 5 sacks, 3 rushing attempts for 22 yards. His longest was 19 yards, so he had 1 really long run. Tony Dorsett, running back. Tony Dorsett, 24 attempts for 69 yards. His longest was 14. He had 2 catches for 17 yards. This doesn't make any sense. Oh, yes, it does. This is an awesome stat. He had 2 catches for 17 yards. His longest, 18 yards.
Oh, the other one was a -1.
It was a -1. At first, I was like, that makes no sense. And I was like, oh, wait, no, it does. So that's pretty funny. Drew Pearson, he was another stud. He only had 1 reception for 8 yards. Ron Springs had 6 rushes for 20 yards. Tony Hill, I think I remember that name. He had 4 receptions for 42 yards. His longest was 19. Butch Johnson, now that's a name. Butch Johnson. He had 1 catch for 33 yards and a touchdown.
There you go. He had a big
big one. 1 long run there. Timmy Newson, I wonder if he's Nate Newsom's dad. Timmy Newsom, 1 reception for 10 yards. And Doug Cosby, 1 rush, -2 yards. And 7 receptions for 77 yards and a touchdown. So his longest was 29. So you would think 777, he would average 11, which he did, but his longest was 29 yards. So 2 big plays for Dallas's 2 touchdowns, a 33-yarder and a 29-yarder. And then defense, we had some guy named, this is on Philadelphia's defense, some guy named Herm Edwards. I don't know if you ever heard of him before.
Yeah.
I think
he played to win the game.
Yeah, he might turn out to be something good in the future after this year. Jerry Robinson, Greg Brown, Dennis Harrison, John Bunting, and Ken Clark were all Eagles defense who had Herm Edwards had an interception, and so did Jerry Robinson. The rest of them all had, it looks like, sacks. Dallas, or defensive interceptions, Deion Thurman had an interception, and Everin Walls had an interception for the Cowboys, I guess. Kickers, punt returners, Wally Henry, Melvin Hoover. They're kicker names. They're the return guys. they're your Eagles return guys. Wally Henry and Melvin Hoover. We got to get them. You guys got to get them on the Corner Pub Sports. Ron Fellows was a Cowboys kick returner. Not the Ron Fellows from Saturday Night Live. I don't know if you remember.
Is it Ron Fellows? No, I don't remember Ron Fellows from Saturday Night Live.
I don't know if it was Ron or not. I think it was Brian Fellows. That's what it was. Brian Fellows was a character on Saturday Night Live where he was he was an animal guy, but he was afraid of animals. He's like, why is that rabbit looking at me like that? He was just constantly, he's like, put that rabbit away. I don't like that rabbit. It was
who played him?
Who was it? I think it was Tim Meadows.
Oh, okay.
I think it was Tim Meadows who played him. He was really funny. Ron Fellows, James Jones, Dallas had 2 returns for 46 yards. Kicking and punting, Philadelphia's kicker Tony Franklin and Max Ruggieri, Max Ruggieri was the punter. Tony Franklin was your field goal kicker. And this is my favorite. This is why I wanted to get all the way down to the kicking and punting. Cowboys field goal kicker was Raphael Sebastian, and their punter, Danny White. He played quarterback and punter.
Wow.
Yep. Pretty impressive. Quarterback and punter for the Cowboys. So,
Okay.
Jay says he remembers that game. I bet he does. He was talking to me after our last show, hitting me up in Facebook Messenger. We were chatting all about the Cowboys of the past, and he says he remembers all the 80s games and the 70s games as well. So the fact that he remembers the day after Christmas game in Dallas that the Eagles won 24-20 is awesome.
Yeah.
So
that is pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's also saying that Jay's kind of old.
Jay, yeah, it was funny because when I looked on his Facebook, we went to the same high school. I was like, "Oh, when did you graduate?" He's like, "I'm old," and I'm old compared to you. I was like, "Oh, I graduated in '91. You can't be that old." He was like, "Yeah, I graduated. I don't want to date him, but he graduated before me." I was like,
91.
"Yeah," I was like, "Oh, you are older than me." Okay. So, so I think that's about it. This way we can get to, it's 8:04. It's almost kickoff time for the Cowboys beating down on Tampa Bay. Boom. I said it. I don't believe it.
You could keep saying it. I mean, you could say it until you believe it, but yeah.
Jay also says Danny White was a great quarterback. He was fun. He was fun to watch. I really liked him, but he was the one. He was the backup quarterback when Roger Staubach won the last Super Bowl, won his last Super Bowl. Danny White was on the team, but then when Danny White took over, he has a ring. But when he took over as the starting quarterback, we were never able to get back there again, which sucked because I was a little kid and I was loving it. And I was like, come on, and it felt like now where the Cowboys Well, not this year, but when we do really well in the regular season and then can't do anything in the playoffs. So,
Yes.
so whatever. But
Loving every minute of that.
yeah.
See, we got the Super Bowl patch here. I think we might see that again.
On the other side.
But I do need to. I do need to maybe watch this.
Yeah, now that they lost. Yeah.
I could maybe I'll switch over to the Hurts jersey for the next show.
Yeah, I got him too. Hopefully he's healthy again when you can put that back on.
I think he's coming back next week. I have a good feeling about it.
Good, I hope so, because I don't want to see anybody get hurt. I mean, it's not like I'm not an Eagles fan that cheers when your defense sacks Troy Aikman and gives him a concussion and he has to stumble out of the game and you're cheering for him and you have a giant picture on the side of the stadium of that injury. I'm not like that. No, I care about the players. I'm classy. That's right. I'm classy. So, that being said, until 2 weeks from now, right before that New Year's Eve, we'll see you guys at the end of the regular season.
I think it'll be after New Year's.
It'll be after New Year's? Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, all right.
I think so. So we will see you all in the new year. Rob, I'll see you in the new year.
Yep.
We're both a little bit festive. You got your Christmas shirt
I have
on,
a custom Christmas shirt with my wife made it with pictures of all of the dogs and her all over it. You have a nice festive Christmas shirt. You have your Eagles Christmas hat on. Yes. Yep, there we go.
Yep.
Jay said, great show, guys. Thank you, Jay.
Thanks, Jay.
Thanks. Our number one fan, Jay Parr, our number one fan. Woo woo.
Yep.
So
he wears that like a badge. No,
he does. We need to make him a patch.
We literally gave him a badge. I already did. We made him a badge for Corner Pub Sports.
That's awesome.
We made him and Mark one, and now they're fighting over it. Jay's got a little work to do. I mean, Jay's been really good to us, but he's gotten us food and stuff from time to time. But Mark's apparently bringing ribs and some barbecue over for next week. So
I don't know.
I mean, that Mark might be overtaking Jay.
Jay, bring some shrimp, and that'll win.
Yeah. Well, that's not gonna win. That's not gonna win Sean over, but.
Oh no! Oh, it would win me over. I like ribs also.
He's going to bring over cases of like Juice Monkey and some Guinness, and
nice.
So he's going to try and win us over that way.
There you go. That's a way to win Sean over for sure. So
yeah.
All right.
Just a real quick shameless plug for next Friday is the Corner Pub Sports Best of Show.
There you go.
So that is the show where all the shenanigans that happen all year, Sean works really hard.
Oh, that's a lot of work
putting
too.
It all together.
Yeah.
Yeah, putting it all together and putting clips of it, and we just sit back, drink some beers, and listen to it, and we'll be eating some ribs and whatnot.
There you go.
Definitely tune in. It is the highlight show of the year for us. And if you're really scrambling for some Christmas gifts, there still is. No one likes us, but we do care.
But we do care.
Amazon. Yes, Amazon has the book. I guess if you're a Prime member, you might be able to get overnighted if you need it in a rush. You can also get it at the Newtown Book Club or bookstore. So head over there and get yourself a copy, and it's going to be a great gift for somebody.
There you go. Jay said he's bringing Stocks Pound Cakes. Let me tell you, people in where I teach love Stocks Pound Cakes. Like, we could, as a fundraiser, charge double, and people will buy 7 of them each. They'll be like, sure, let's do it. So, yeah, yes. Definitely.
Jay brought us a Stocks Pound Cake for a gathering the other day. He gave us one that we finished very quickly. Phenomenal.
There you go. So, all right, from all of us here at Your Team Sucks, I just want to let everybody know that this week, your team sucks. Not the Cowboys, because we haven't played yet.
I will let you have this one, but happy holidays, everyone.
Happy holidays, yes.
Rob.
Yep, back at you. Happy holidays, and you're going all the way, or at least very, very far to all the way, and the Cowboys are not. So we're not even in the hunt. The Cowboys are not even in the hunt, so I really can't say too much. So, all right, well, I will see you in 2025, my friend.
Yes, and yes, Jay, just in case you wanted to know, in case you weren't eliminated and all this ragging and whatnot that you're doing, if Washington is the last seed in. If there was any hope, was it that the Eagles losing knocked the Cowboys out of it? Was this officially what eliminated you guys?
It could have been,
All this
yeah.
that you were excited about and that you're cheering about and hooting and hollering is the game that put the final nail in the coffin?
As long as the Eagles
Could
lost,
be.
that's all that matters. Could be. All right.
All right.
All right. Till next time.
All right. Take it easy, Rob.
Take it easy. Let me stop the stream now. Good job. Merry Christmas, Jay. Great job. I just stopped the stream. No longer streaming.